Now this is podgazing.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Gazer and the Podgazer podcast. I'm joined by my good friend over here, Jar Jar Jargon. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, Morgan. Thanks for having me back again. So
Yes.
second time on the pod, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I love having you guys on. It's so much fun. So we have a lot of fun.
Definitely, yeah.
How have you been, man? You had that little bit of a freak accident with your ankle there, and
Yeah, I've been a little quiet on YouTube, as some might notice. I think Caden and I streamed once in the last couple of months because I have a broken ankle, but
ugh,
getting back into the swing of things. I'm getting haven't made any Andor videos yet. I haven't just had the patience to do that, but I'll maybe make like a season review or something once that's over, because I still
there
got
you
another
go.
month in the cast. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a bummer, dude. So a month in the cast, and then how long till you're still on crutches and stuff?
Oh, that's kind of up in the air, and how, PT goes and things like that. So,
Gotcha.
um, there's going to be a long, process in getting back to normal for sure.
That's so wild, man. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate, dude. Like
yeah.
freak accident.
Trampoline, man. Don't get on trampolines when you're 30 years old. So,
Right? Exactly. Yeah. I was just talking about stuff like that with my boss at work. He was like, "Man, kids can just get back up and do their thing, you know." And my daughter, she wants me to do all these things. I'm like, "Hey, listen, dad's not built like you. Dad's
right?
fragile, you know? Like
Yeah,
dad just can't bounce back up. It hurts." Like,
yeah. These kids, they fall, they do all kinds of things, and it's just like, yeah, nothing.
yeah.
Just scratch, and then you forget that as you get older.
Yeah, you do that and you're like on the ground, you're like
Yeah,
Peter from Family Guy.
exactly. Yeah.
You know, like oh man. Well, that's cool, man. I was gonna ask you too, we kind of talked a little bit off screen. You haven't gotten a chance to see Revenge of the Sith either in theaters because of that
No,
stinking
yeah.
ankle, dude. Like that's
It's a bummer. And I know you did see it. You were showing
yes.
me your popcorn bucket back there. That is so
Yeah.
awesome, man. I'm like, oh, kind of wish I would have got one of those. Was that AMC, or was it one of the other, like, Regal or something?
AMC. Yeah. AMC did the
Okay.
popcorn bucket helmet and then they had cups. I don't really care about the cup, to be real.
Yeah.
But I saw the popcorn bucket and I'm like, yeah, that's coming home with me.
So great. I love
Yeah.
it. What do you think they'll do? There was some talk about this, a celebration for the Mando movie. What do you think the popcorn bucket will be? Like, is it gonna be a pram with Grogu inside, or like a Mando helmet or something?
I think they should do two. I think a little Grogu popcorn bucket or you can buy a Mandalorian helmet popcorn bucket. Like you get
Yeah,
to
that'd be
choose. I
cool.
think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I could see that. I think they're gonna go all out for the movie, obviously, since they haven't really been in theaters in, 6 years.
Right.
So
Yeah. The cool thing about taking the Revenge of the Sith 2 last night was that my three oldest went with me. Now, when Revenge of the Sith first came out in 2005, I was 10.
yeah.
And it was my third Star Wars movie in theaters. For my kids, my oldest is 9. So she's about the same age I was when I saw Revenge in
Oh, that's
theaters.
cool.
So I got to take them last night and they're like, "This is awesome." You know,
Yeah.
like they thought it was the coolest thing ever. So
It is just, it's such a action-packed movie and everything. It's so great, and in that kind of format. Really, yeah, kind of bummed about the situation. I'm not gonna be able to, like, get over there and sit in a theater for a couple hours and watch it. But I did see Return of the Jedi for the 40th, and my theater was packed. It was amazing.
yeah. Yeah.
I hadn't seen, obviously, any of the originals in the theaters, so that was a treat, man. That was
Yeah.
amazing. Did you
Same
did you catch that one?
I did, yeah. So it was last year, wasn't it? Or was that 2 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when that came out, I had first bought tickets for me and my son James to go see Return of the Jedi in concert.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we got to watch it with the live orchestra and everything. I mean, that
Yeah.
was so cool.
I did that for
And
A New Hope out here, and it was,
yeah,
yeah, that was something, man. That was
that's so
awesome.
cool. And then a week later, I got to go see Return of the Jedi in a normal theater in like a Dolby, whatever, with my
Yeah.
dad.
Oh,
So
cool.
my dad saw it when he was young, obviously. So to get to experience that with him in theaters was really cool. So
That is awesome, man.
yeah,
That's, yeah, I seeing it in theaters, I mean, it, like, it was always like, kind of like my third favorite Star Wars movie, but I don't know, it just shot up for me after I saw it in the theater. I'm like, oh my god, it might be just as good as Empire.
Right?
It's
Yeah.
so amazing.
The scenes with Vader in it, just like that's why
Yeah,
I love to see Empire, because I bet that scenes with Vader just as so much bigger, and just like the sound just so more grandiose,
yeah.
just like, oh,
Empire is 100%. I haven't never seen it in a theater. I need to, like, one of these days it's gonna be back in a theater, and I'm gonna definitely be there for sure.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I want to see that one in concert. I missed it the year before
Mm,
Return, and I was like, I wish I
yeah.
would have.
That one's coming out here in like 2 weeks in concert, and I'm obviously not gonna be going. So it's like,
Bummer.
yeah,
You're
it is
missing
what
out
it
on
is.
all this good stuff, man.
I know, I know. Like, I would have loved to go to Japan if I could have, man. That looked
Yeah.
like a lot of fun.
Did
Like seeing all those videos.
did Cantina go?
No, he didn't
No.
go.
Dang.
But I think, well, I'm definitely gonna be going to California in 2027. That's like a absolute certainty. No, it sounds like you're going to be going to California too. So
Yeah.
we'll definitely have to link up out there, and I'll try and talk Caden into coming out there for sure. I'm gonna
Yes,
gotta get him out
absolutely.
there. So
Yeah. I've never been to Star Wars Celebration, and as soon as they announced LA 2027 for the 50th, I'm like, you know what? We're gonna kill two birds with one stone. I'm taking the family out there for Disneyland vacation, and then leading up, and then we're going to Celebration. It's gonna be
yeah,
great.
that's the
So
way to do it, man. That's
yeah.
awesome.
So,
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really curious about this whole Starfighter thing. By then, we'll be a month away from release, so there should be a lot of panels, with the cast and all that
yes.
stuff. It's really interesting to me. It's I was expecting Filoni's movie to be like the 50th anniversary movie,
Yep.
especially because the rumors, of him bringing back Luke and Han and all them together. Um, so this one is definitely an odd one for me. I love Ryan Gosling though, so I'm totally open to it. It's like we know nothing about it still, and I can't even begin to speculate about what
Yeah.
it's going to be about. So
Yeah, so let's start jumping into some of that, because I'm sure
yeah.
you watched a lot of the Celebration stuff,
Oh
at least,
yeah, I was home all
like,
day, man, just
yeah.
watching stuff, following YouTube and whatnot.
Right? And so, me, Kyber Forged, and a bunch of people were doing live streams like 7 hours straight for these things.
Oh yeah, I
But
saw you some of them. Yeah.
right? So let's start talking about Star Wars Fighter. I mean, obviously we don't know a lot, like you said, but like, what are your initial thoughts about it?
I'm like, I don't want to ever be negative too much or anything like that, because at the end of the day, I love Star Wars, but I'm like still kind of apprehensive about the sequel trilogy and the post sequel landscape.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like oh, we're getting a Ryan Gosling Star Wars movie. Amazing. Love Ryan Gosling. Everything he's
Yeah.
in. Blade Runner is like one of my favorite movies ever, the 2049. But then it's like, by the way, this takes place 5 years after Return of or what is it? What is it called? Like Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
I watch it so little that I forget it. But so I'm like, like, is it
Yep.
I don't
get
know.
that.
So
Yep.
I part of me is like, I'm open to seeing where it goes, but I'm also like, I can't say I'm super excited for it. I'm more excited for the stuff we got about Ahsoka season 2.
Yes.
And like the Mando movie is more exciting to me. I'm just more excited for that era in general, the Mandoverse era.
Yes,
So
I agree. Yeah. I will say though, I am excited for the prospect. Kyber Forged and I were talking about this, is like, if they make it like a Star Wars Top Gun kind of thing, I think that could be really cool.
Yeah, no, it could be really cool. I mean, I love Top Gun, right? So.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If they melded the two, I'd be like, all right, like, let's see where this thing goes. But yeah, the fact that they're continuing on with in a sense, their sequels, it's 5 years after, I'm like, I don't know if I like that,
Well,
like,
I guess I'm just worried about how much it's going to tie into that, right? Like,
right.
is Rey going to show up, or, I don't know. Who knows?
Right.
But
yeah,
there's also, have you heard, I don't want to get too much into spoilers and leaks, if you don't pay attention to that stuff, and I don't want to spoil anything for you, but do you follow that stuff at all?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So like the leak that's out there is like, the synopsis of the movie is that, Ryan Gosling is like the main character's uncle, and the main character is actually like a 15 to 16-year-old boy.
Interesting.
and the mother also plays a role. You know, if this is a way for them to fix the Skywalker lineage, and this little boy is, you know, Luke's son or something like that had to go into hiding,
Yeah.
then I'm 100% on board.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
you know, I don't know. It could just be, but on the other part of him, like, okay, is it just like a, you know, older guy, Ryan Gosling, and a young kid, which we're just getting the Bad Batch story and the Grogu story all over again in a different format, you know? And
Right.
it's like, I don't know. I don't know where this is going. So I'm just,
Right. That's crazy. Yeah, that would be wild. If
oh
that's the
yeah.
way they went with it.
If it was Skywalker lineage, I mean, that
Right.
would change things big time for me about even the sequels, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
There's
agree.
ways
Yeah.
to fix this whole thing, you
Right.
know? We'll see if it happens, but
Yeah.
did you,
I mean,
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, with talking about fixing it and see if they do the right thing. Like, I reposted something last night that showed that the Revenge of the Sith is already like, here, let me look it up because I saved it and I was like, man, this is really wild. I posted my story. So the 20th anniversary re-release of Revenge of the Sith is tracking for a 25 to 30 million dollar weekend at the box office. This would be the biggest re-release weekend of the modern era.
Wow.
Like,
Wow.
and I posted, I said, Disney, you should be listening. Like,
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I mean? Like, pay attention to what's going on. And it's funny because I was talking to, do you know Bryant Collectibles? A little
No,
bit.
I don't
Okay.
know. The name sounds a little familiar, but I don't know him. No.
He works out in the studios out in California for a lot of
Oh,
this
okay.
stuff. And he and I were talking, and he called it. He goes, I guarantee this re-release is gonna blow box office numbers out of the water of anything else that Disney has come out with Star Wars wise. And
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
no, there's a hunger for it, right? I
yeah,
mean, and it almost, it's like, I'd kind of be surprised if we don't get a Clone Wars live action movie with Ewan
right,
and Hayden, you know, after seeing the success of it, because that would really, and they have Ariana Greenblatt, you know, as young Ahsoka.
right, exactly.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
recipe's there.
it is.
Tim is young enough to play Rex still, I would say. So,
Yes. And I know Samuel L. Jackson still wants to come back and play Mace Windu. Like, there's a lot
right.
of people that want to reprise their roles. Like, you have the opportunity. Like, I think you'd be dumb not to do it.
Yeah, I kind of agree, because it would just be you know, it'd be fun. It'd be a fun movie to do. There wouldn't have to be any, um, I don't know, like crazy stakes. You know what I mean? Like, we know that they're all going to survive. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it could be a fun movie, just a fun adventure
Right.
movie.
Fun,
So,
fun adventure movie, or I'd even be okay with like a limited series where it's like the Lost Missions or something like that.
yeah,
You
that'd be
know,
cool.
something like that too would be kind of cool.
Well, I mean, they have all those unfinished, you know, arcs.
Right.
So there's definitely, there's stories out there that could be used, I think.
Right. I agree. Yeah.
So that'd
Um,
be really cool.
So Ahsoka, right? They came out and announced, obviously, they
Yeah.
had the Ahsoka panel. Hayden's coming back. Ewan's gonna be back. What are your thoughts on the new Ahsoka season 2 and kind of some of the stuff we got from them?
You know, it blew me away, to be honest, because I was kind of like, I really liked the first season of Ahsoka. I loved, you know, the introduction of Thrawn. I kind of like that Ahsoka and Sabine are separated from the rest of the galaxy at this point. I think it allows us to focus more on some of the other heroes in the main galaxy, like hopefully our original trilogy heroes.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, did you see the concept art reel they played?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that, I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be exactly what I've been waiting for, because Thrawn is like taking the galaxy by storm. It looks like,
Yes.
and
Yep.
and then
He's
we're
just
getting,
going. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
The
Yep.
very first picture from the concept art was him like in the war room, and I'm like, holy shit, that's like Heir to the Empire. And obviously, you know, I'm a huge, massive fan.
Yes.
That goes
What?
without saying. Yeah, I think that goes without saying. And so for that reason, I'm like, hell yeah, like it just, I'm ready. I'm ready
Yes.
for that one, 100%.
Absolutely. And I'm glad they're bringing in some characters like Zeb and some of these guys,
Yeah.
like they're bringing them back. Like, I like that. I like the tie-ins. Like, dude, I can't think of his name, but the gentleman who is taking over the role for Balin Skull.
Yeah, Rory is, I don't know his last name, but the guy
He
from
looks
Game of Thrones.
good.
Yeah. It's a good choice.
It is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He looks like he's gonna fit that role really well. And from what I hear, I never watched Game of Thrones, but from what I hear, he's a taller guy and just kind of built
He's big.
decently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of sword fighting and stuff like that in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
And he moves very similarly to how Ray moved in the first season. So I think it's going to be a good recast, and I'm glad that they recasted him and didn't just you know abandon that storyline, because there
Yeah.
was a lot I'd say Balin was like the most interesting new character out of the whole thing, without a
Yes.
doubt. So
I agree. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. So where do you think they go with this? Because I've heard a lot of people speculating that they might be bringing Natalie Portman into play, like Abeloth or something like that.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I heard that too. I think that could work. That could be kind of cool. I don't really care who plays Abeloth, but it sounds like we're getting Abeloth. That's what it
Yeah.
sounds like.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I
yeah.
think it'd be sweet for if it were Natalie Portman. One, for her to come back to the Star Wars franchise,
Yeah.
get some of that love, that Hayden and Ewan have been getting, and then just, I just like the idea of it, especially with
Right.
Hayden coming back to play his role as Anakin, as this like mentor towards Ahsoka, and then you have Natalie Portman show up as Abeloth, the dynamic there, I
Yeah.
think is going to
Oh,
be
yeah.
really interesting.
It definitely could be. I'm all for it. I'm not against it in any capacity, but if it's not her, I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm
Right.
like, if it is her, awesome. If it's not, like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's a
Right.
big get for a Star Wars TV, like a Disney Plus show, I feel like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it wouldn't shock me if it's not her, but I'm really excited to see where it's all going, man. I'm like, it's, I think it sounds like we're getting Mando in May next year.
Yep.
And then this is filming this week. Ahsoka started filming this week, so we should
Yep.
be getting Ahsoka theoretically right after the Mando movie, or sometime in the winter, I'd say.
Right.
So like, and I think they're gonna play off each other. I have a theory out there that I haven't talked about online because I haven't been online hardly, but I think that they take place at the exact same time.
Okay. The Mando
and
movie
the Ahsoka
and
season 2.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because from what I've heard about Mando, Thrawn doesn't really play a big role in it at all.
Okay.
But if they show why he's so busy in Ahsoka and him attacking the New Republic, we might get mention of it in the Mando movie. Like, yeah, we're getting, our guys are busy. We need you to go out and do this thing. That's why they're hiring him. That's what I'm thinking is probably happening.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So they're hiring Mando to go on some missions because the New Republic is being, they got their hands full with Thrawn at the time. And I have a theory about the movie, the Mando movie. There's a lot being hidden about it, right? Like, we don't know much besides Road to the Hutt is in it. That's been confirmed.
They're playing really close to the chest on it. Yeah.
Yes. And I watched every single, I had nothing but time on my hands. So I watched every single Favreau interview that was from Celebration, every single one. That guy would not let a thing slip. He was in an interview with Sigourney Weaver, and they asked, like, are you in the movie, like, in the beginning, middle, and end? And Favreau shut it down. He's like, no, we're not talking about that. I'm like, holy dude, he won't let anything slide.
Nope.
So there's some big surprises in that movie, and I think Han Solo is 100% in the movie.
Okay, you think they get the actor who played Solo in the movie to come back?
Ulrich or whatever. Possibly. I think it could be Harrison Ford de-aged. We saw Indiana Jones. They did it there. They have the technology. They've already figured it out.
Would that be wild, or would that be wild if he came back?
I think it's very likely, and the other reason I think it's likely is because of the rebranding of the Smuggler's Run ride at Galaxy's Edge.
You mean as far as like giving you new missions and all that?
Yes, they announced this to Celebration that the Smuggler's Run ride will be rebranded in 2026, in May of 2026, which is the same time the movie comes out, and that they're gonna be related. The missions are gonna be related to Mando and Grogu. But Favreau's thing was, it's something that happens off screen. Is it? Is it really?
Interesting. So
Yeah.
for me, then it kind of sounds like, because it sounds like they're leading towards this heir to the empire thing, right?
Yeah,
Everything's kind of turning direction towards that. So like I could totally see, you get the Mando movie and you get, Han Solo in there and Chewbacca and like, and then, maybe at some point in that movie, like as they're doing their thing, they run into Thrawn, right? Who's just on this absolutely madman mission, right? Even if it's for a brief thing, they're like, holy crap, what is this? And then like, yeah, so I could totally see all of this just turning towards that. That makes sense.
Yeah, that was my kind of thought too, is like Thrawn will, I think, at least appear or maybe just be mentioned several times, but they're obviously gonna have to allude to this is all building up to Thrawn, right?
Right.
So even the Mando movie could be a completely separate mission. There's Caden had the great theory that maybe Leia gets kidnapped, because that was a legend storyline that she got kidnapped by the Hutts again because of killing Jabba.
Yeah.
So potentially we know Rada's in there. Maybe Leia gets kidnapped. Maybe that's why Han gets involved
That makes sense.
with Mando and he helps him rescue Leia. And that, if it takes place at the same exact time as Ahsoka, allows them not to worry about where's Leia, where's Han during this Akbar and Thrawn, battle.
Yeah. If that's the case and it turns out to be a Leia rescue, do you think Luke shows up? I mean, it's his sister.
Possibly, but I also think Luke could be saved for Ahsoka season 2, right?
True.
If they take place at the same time. So it's hard to say, but I think that's going to be the way it goes, in my opinion.
Dude, if all this does happen and we get like, the original Han Solo, Leia, like
they have to. You can't play in this time period and not put him in there. Like you can't just keep going. Obviously, they mentioned Leia a lot in Ahsoka. Oh, Leia proved this, Leia proved that. C-3PO shows up, but eventually you can't keep avoiding him forever.
Right. You have to put him in there. Yeah.
Right.
And I know the
whole galaxy's getting attacked. Like, come on.
Yeah. And didn't they I can't remember, in Rogue One, I thought, didn't they use Billy Lord at the end of that, her daughter, and just kind of like AI'd like her or CGI'd her face a bit?
So no, Billy Lord was not in Rogue One. That was a different stand-in actress, but Billy Lord was Leia in Rise of Skywalker, the flashback.
That's what it was.
Flashback. Yep. Gotcha. And I think Billy Lord is the obvious choice. That would honor Carrie's legacy a lot better than, some other crazy deep fakes. So
Yeah, for sure. So, dude, if that's the direction they're going, I'm excited. Like, genuinely, I'm excited.
Well, just seeing even like some of the concept art, like obviously they're hiding a lot of stuff because they should. You're gonna hide a lot of the, the surprises. And you should, because it'll just get people more excited when they're in the theater watching it for the first time. And it's like, oh shit, like Han Solo's in here or whatever,
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's why I'm more excited for that era in general.
Yeah.
And I'm more kind of like, I'm just curious about this whole Starfighter and everything else. And I'm just kind of like, okay, we'll see where it goes. I don't know.
I will say something I mentioned to the guys on our live stream was that it seems like Disney is paying attention at least a little bit, because 2 reasons. One, they announced a lot more movies, right? And not only did they announce more movies than shows, but a lot of this stuff is already in production, right? Like it's not just something they want to do. It's already like, nope, we're already in the middle of this, And I'm like, okay, like they're paying attention now. They're starting to hopefully pay attention to some of this.
Right. No, I agree completely. And it wasn't like, oh, we're announcing a bunch of stuff that's never going to come out. Like, no, Starfighter goes into production this fall. And like the Maul show is already being worked on. And, they had a trailer. I mean, that's like
exactly. Yep.
Yeah. And the Maul show is another reason I think you're absolutely right that they are paying attention, because we're getting Darth Talon, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Which is that alleged George Lucas sequel trilogy treatment. So it sounds like they're going to kind of work that story in too.
Yeah.
So I do think things are kind of turning around at Lucasfilm, actually. I'm really, I'm really kind of curious to see where things are headed and how it all goes. And mostly excited for this Mando and Ahsoka just craziness. This Thrawn storyline, man, is going to be crazy.
Epic.
And I hope Xander Berkeley's back as Pelion. Because we saw him for like a minute in Mando, and I really hope he's right at Thrawn's side in this Ahsoka show.
Yep, that'd be great. I love it.
It'd
Actually,
be
it's funny.
classic.
So my buddy, Skyberforged, he does a lot of like card stuff,
Mhm.
and he sent me this because he's like, dude, you're Pelion.
Oh, I
So
love that. That's great.
right. So I was like, oh, I'm keeping that around here. So
That doesn't look too far off from what we did with the animation,
no, it
the
doesn't.
character design in the animation.
It does
That's pretty
not.
good.
It looks good. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm excited for. It was funny with the mall show. I had Commander Jesse, friend of mine, was at Celebration, and he was getting a Sam Witwer autograph, and it was right after they officially announced Maul, and he goes up to him and is like, "Okay, so if you're getting this Maul show, does that mean we're also getting Darth Talon?" He signs, kind of chuckles, looks at him, and goes, "It's kind of interesting, huh?" And then like hands it back, and then like he's like, dude, like, was that like a confirmation, you know? Like,
Oh,
oh,
it's happening 100%.
yeah,
I mean, that was Talon in the trailer, I think, and
yeah,
just untattooed because in Legends her master like tattooed her. Now her master wasn't Maul in Legends, but that's okay. I actually think it kind of adds up, with Maul
yeah.
and her. It's kind of cool. So
Yes, absolutely. That is really cool.
yeah.
The other thing that's cool about it too is, you see, I don't know if you follow Theory Sabers at all. They have the Phantom Menace. I mean, he looks just like Darth Maul.
Oh yeah,
And
that
then
guy is
what's
crazy,
her
man.
what's her name? There's a gal that dresses up as Darth Talon, and they kind of sometimes will
Oh,
meet up at cons and stuff
uh-huh.
together. And it's like that's perfect. Like,
You're right.
it's so hilarious that added up.
Yeah, I've
Um,
seen that guy too. Dude, his cosplay is out of this world.
right?
It's
It
like
is. He
crazy.
said he said it takes him like 5 or 6 hours to do his makeup.
Wow.
I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Um, so you watched Andor season 2, the first 3 episodes.
Yes, I did.
What are your just kind of overall thoughts on Andor season 2 so far?
So, I will preface by saying that I watched all of season 1, like rewatched it all,
Okay.
like a week beforehand, and
Okay.
rewatching it, I was like, I thought Andor was good, but I don't know. Rewatching, I was like, this is even like better than I remember, and it. I remember the first time watching it thinking like this doesn't feel very Star Wars. Um, but I liked it. I was like, it's well written. The visuals are amazing. You can tell they put so much money into this show, right?
Yeah.
Um, but something about the first season, I was kind of like, it doesn't really feel like Star Wars. I think it's just missing some of that mythical, like, magic that Star Wars
Yeah.
has. But when I rewatched it, I don't know, it felt like Star Wars. And it maybe it was just because
Interesting.
of the practical sets and it's not that necessarily, it's still missing that like mythical aspect to it, I feel like. But here's the thing. It looks like 1970s, 80s Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's what it captures, I think. That's where I
Yeah.
was kind of like, okay, it really captures that. And
Yeah.
season 2 hits the ground running, in my opinion. I mean, I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, that
Okay.
third episode was crazy.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's some controversy there,
Yep.
which I actually understand, like, why it's controversial. Like, does Star Wars need to go that far?
Yeah. See, that's the thing for me. I don't think they needed to go that far in there. I think showing the entire thing to me was distasteful.
Yeah,
I think when he says I like to relax, and they maybe grabbed her hand and like did that, like brushed her hand, cutscene, right?
right.
At that point, what's happening. Like Anakin with the younglings, he ignites the lightsaber, cutscene,
And it's
what's
over. Yeah,
happening.
we know.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then maybe you come back and you see like her, she's just got a hammer and just boom upside the head, and then he comes, gallivanting out, hits his
Yeah,
head, like
that's I really like that. And that would have been, it would have played a lot better because man, it got to like it's obviously an uncomfortable thing for viewers and everything like that, but it's just like it's weird in Star Wars because we do
it is.
not cross that line. Like even like with Anakin with the kids, like we know he slaughtered the children, we know he slaughtered the Tuskens. We
Right.
didn't see him slaughter the whole village. We saw him slice
Right.
a couple up and then it cuts.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that was the thing too. Like, and my review should be out this morning or last night. But there are people that watch Star Wars who may be going through that or have gone through that,
Mhm.
who use Star Wars as an escape, and to see it on screen fully fledged out is like, why? It doesn't need to be there. They're there to escape that. Like,
Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like overall, I thought the episode was incredible in terms of just
yes,
how it was written and
I
like
agree.
the the intensity of it. Like there's so much that's building up, and with
Yes.
like Mon's friend, and oh man,
Yes.
it's just crazy. Dude, the Cyril and Dedra stuff is hilarious.
I was clapping and like, yeah, when Deidre went off on his mom, I was like, yeah, go. Like,
Oh my god, it's so funny. That stuff is like, just give me a full show of them and I'll be entertained. Like it's
right?
that entertaining to me.
Yeah.
It's so
They're
funny.
just so awkward together, man. It's so
Yeah,
funny, awkward. Like it's so
it
awkward,
is.
it's funny, you know?
It's
Like,
like The Office or something, like one of those sitcoms where it's just like this uncomfortableness that's
yes,
hilarious. Yeah.
yes,
Uh,
100%.
yeah,
But no, I
it's
agree.
good.
Like, I thought personally, episode 1 was okay to bring you back in. Now, maybe I need to do what you did and watch season 1 to feel like it picked up the pace, because I felt like going into it, like I'd watched the recap, but maybe I didn't get a feel for the slowness in a sense of season 1 to feel
Yeah.
like, okay, they really picked it up here. Because for me, it still felt kind of slow. I mean, episode 1 was all right. Him trying to, in the beginning, trying to figure out how to fly that thing, and he's like
The
hitting the
TIE Avenger.
walls, and
Yeah.
he's like, like, felt like me and trying to learn a video game when I was a kid, trying to learn how to fly
Right.
this thing. But to me, I mean, episode 1 was all right. Episode 2 to me was kind of a waste. I thought episode
It
2 was
was
kind of a waste.
Yeah, that was the shortest one, right? It was
Yeah,
definitely a lot of like, all right, we're just setting up even
yeah,
more for the third episode. But like, and I definitely recommend watching season 1 again, because there's a lot of that in season 1, especially through like the first like 8 episodes, where there's an episode here and there that just is nothing but setting up the stage for what's going to happen, the climax of the arc basically. And it definitely starts slower than this season did, but I don't mind that kind of thing. It's I'm not the kind of person who's like, yeah, I need everything to be Revenge of the Sith. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
right.
need it all to be like action, 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 which I love. Like, but I like Attack of the Clones, and people don't like that. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the middle portion of the story of the trilogy, and a lot of people think it's the worst Star Wars movie somehow when Rise of Skywalker exists.
no,
But it's
no,
like,
not even close.
but I see that opinion a lot, and I'm like, it's okay to slow things down a little bit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? To get where
yeah,
we're going to be going. Um, but I agree. It was the weakest of the 3 for sure.
yeah,
So the second
yeah.
episode.
I will say I have been enjoying, and I was just texting who's it, Outer Rim Transmissions. I was just
Oh
messaging
yeah.
him and telling him that, like, I actually have been starting a lot more. I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older. Like, I've been enjoying the political side of things more.
Yeah.
And just kind of that nuance there. So like I really did enjoy, especially episode 3, the whole the Mon Mothma stuff.
Right.
Especially like her at the end, you got the music playing and she's just getting drunk and dancing. Like,
Yeah.
but you can tell she's like completely depressed, 100%.
Right.
Like she's just like, I'm depressed, but I'm just gonna dance because you know what I mean? Like,
There's nothing you can do to stop this. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So, but yeah, I thought it was overall it was pretty good. I gave it, for my personal, like 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
For me, I hope, again, maybe not seeing season 1 right away maybe hindered this, but I hope it does like even like pick up even more. Like,
Yeah.
I also, oh man, I was when he's captured by those I guess I call them mercenaries, but like, and then they're like, it's a what do they call, a brawl or whatever.
Oh, and they did the rock paper scissors.
And I'm like, oh Lord, are you kidding me? Like, what are we doing?
See, I thought that was kind of fun. I will say there was more humor in the first few episodes than there's ever been in Andor. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Which leaned a little more into traditional Star Wars too, right? Because even in like A New Hope, we're getting so much like little humor bits here and there, Han being like situation normal, and
Right. Exactly.
it's like
boring conversation anyway,
yeah,
yeah.
right.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm okay with that kind of stuff. But I kind of like a little bit of cheeky like humor in my Star Wars.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. It's not, is the show perfect? No, but I definitely see what they're going for. It is more adult. It is very much more akin to something like Game of Thrones, which I know you said you haven't watched, but like Game of Thrones, you would spend, you had 10 episodes in a season, and 6 or 7 of those would literally just be nothing but like talking and political like intrigue, essentially.
Okay.
And that's
Interesting.
what and it would build, you'd learn so much about the characters, about the world, how it was working, and where things were headed, that when things did come to a head and there was an action set or an action piece, it had so much meaning behind it. And I think that's what they're kind of going for here. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, they say this is going to like recontextualize Rogue One, so by the end of the season, you might look at Rogue One with so much like, wow, look at all they fought for. You know what I mean?
All the pieces that they put in place. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. No, like I said, I enjoyed most of Andor. Season 2 was a little meh for me, but
Yeah.
um
We'll see where
or
it goes.
episode 2, I should say, not season 2. We're on season
I get what you mean. Yeah, we are in season 2 now.
right? What do you think of them releasing 3 episodes a week?
I like it because I will say this: if it was just like, okay, we got the first episode, I would have been like, cool. Then after the second episode, I've been like, really?
Right.
Like that is it? I gotta wait a whole nother week? Like, like what?
Yeah.
You might lose people. So I think 3 episodes a week is good. You get to see like the full arc of what's happening in that little storyline.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait till he meets K2SO. I'm waiting for that moment.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Right. It was funny. My buddy, he was just joking around, but they were at Celebration, obviously, and we were watching their panel. And when they got to the actor who voices K2SO,
Alan,
he's like, dude,
Tudyk,
he looks like Bubbles. And it was hilarious, from Trailer Park Boys. I never watched Trailer Park Boys, but like I know memes and stuff like that. Like, and I stopped and I'm like, you're right, he kind of does. It was kind of funny. But
he's actually a pretty decent actor. Have you ever watched Firefly? He's in Firefly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nothing against him. I don't have anything against him. It was just the way, and he's his good voice actor, obviously. But like, I just thought it was funny, like what he chose to wear made him look like Bubbles. It was just kind of funny. I was like, huh, interesting choice. And then you have good old Pedro Pascal.
I was about to say, he had an outfit, man.
The skin tight shorts with like the pirate boots, I call them, and then he had like the shirt that was like 3 sizes too big for him, And then he stuck on Filoni's hat, and I'm like, what is he doing?
Yeah, that was quite the look. I don't know, man.
It was wild. It was wild. So where do you think, just kind of prediction wise, where do you think the next 3 episodes are headed? Where do you think?
I think we're gonna see Saw Gerrera in the next 3 episodes. I think we're getting that part of the arc. I hope so, at least. That I love Saw, man, and he's like so brutal. So it'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Do you think we'll get any kind of like, because Saw Gerrera is at least from what I've seen, isn't he affiliated too with like the Wookiees and stuff in some aspects?
I think so. Yeah.
I wonder if we'll get maybe not Chewbacca, but like some type of like Wookiee, like
that'd be cool. If we
that'd be kind of cool
or something.
Right.
Crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. And I'm trying to think. There's some other. Oh, that's what I was gonna ask you. Star Wars Underworld is coming out.
The little animated thing. The little 2 arcs.
What do you think about that?
I've enjoyed those little arcs for the most part. The Tales of the Empire was not great in my opinion, but Tales of the Jedi was great, and I like Cad Bane. I hope that they take it in a direction that kind of makes up for some of the lost Clone Wars arcs. That'd be really cool.
Yep.
And I'm still like on the fence about them reviving Ventress, to be honest with you, because she's supposed to die in the novel with Quinlan. What's that one called?
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
Oh my gosh. I keep wanting to say the path, but that's like the Jedi path is not the thing. I don't know. I don't know what the name is off the top of my head, but I just, I'm like over them reviving all these characters. Like it just kind of like some characters to stay dead because then we have stakes in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I'm okay with it. I love Asajj Ventress. Now,
she's great.
Yeah. One thing I will say, it looks like for me, when you look at Cad Bane, he doesn't have his tube. So it looks like it's some sort of like beginning, like almost how he got where he got.
That's a really good point. I didn't even realize that in the trailer. Wow.
Yeah. He's got no tubes on his thing. And I noticed that right away. And I was like, huh. And I told Nerd that. And he's like, oh, dude, I didn't even notice that. Like,
I didn't even think about that at all.
yeah.
That's crazy.
So I wonder where they're going to take that. And then you have the Saz Ventress. So it's like almost like, are they going back and forth in timeline here? Or what are they doing? You know, like,
Yeah, probably. I mean, the last one was like Barris was like around the fall of the Empire. And then we had the Morgan Elsbeth story, which was like Empire into New Republic. So
yeah.
they probably will jump around a little bit, would be my guess.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right. So I know you and we were talking about the Heir to the Empire stuff, and we're excited. Hopefully that, like you said, the Mando stuff kind of starts veering towards that.
I hope
You
so.
yourself, Mr. Heir to the Empire over here.
Yeah.
Working on your own Heir to the Empire series. Episode 2 is you're getting episode 2 ready. Tell us about that and kind of where you're at with that.
We're really close. When I originally thought I finished episode 2, I decided to add more animation, so I added 3 more scenes to it.
Wow.
And because I got nothing but time over here, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna add some more. I'm gonna lengthen this thing a little bit. So the whole thing right now is running about 18 minutes, which is really what my initial like envision was for it, to do 6 like 20-minute episodes. So I'm honestly thinking about it. I'd like your opinion actually on this. I'm thinking about removing the other one from my channel and just putting this as episode 1, or arc 1 essentially, because this is the first arc of really the comics, which are there's 6 issues in the comics. So this would really cover the first arc. And that was the way I really wanted to do it initially, but I didn't know what I'd be able to accomplish. And it takes time, right? I mean, I've been working on episode 2 alone for like a little over 2 months now. And it takes time. I mean, I've had the animation done for a couple of weeks, and I've just, collecting all the voices. I mean, there's so many characters, and getting those mixed in. And, sometimes I got to have people redo voices. And now I'm doing sound effects, but we are very, very, very close. I'm looking to release on Monday is my goal. So,
I like it. When in terms of releasing it, I think it'd be cool to have both together as one episode. I don't know if you could do something where, like, as you're working on it, you get like the first like 3 or 4 minutes done, and then you release that kind of like you did with this, and then leave people on like a sort of a cliffhanger. Like the rest of the episode will be out, and then when you actually release the full episode, you include that portion,
all of
so
it.
they get the whole thing.
That's a good idea. So I can kind of do like little segments at a time. I like that, because that, and I kind of wish I'd phrase it a little bit different the first go around, because this to me is the true like first episode now that I have this whole chunk done. So
and just like for each full episode, you just release at the very beginning like one little 3 or 4 minute
like a
preview.
teaser, like a 4-minute teaser. Sure.
And then once you get just for each episode, and then once you get the full episode done, boom, there's the whole thing.
Right.
Get people's appetite wet, for that.
That's one way to do it. I like we left obviously on the big cliffhanger,
right,
with the first one. So.
And it's funny because I went around, especially after it was released, I went around because you told me what you were putting behind the scenes here. And so I went around watching people's reactions on YouTube. And every time it got to that end part, everybody's like, what?
Like, what? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't really remember that happening. And it's like, yeah, it didn't, but we're having fun with it. It's, at the end of the day, it's a fan film. I'm not like, I'm not saying that this is the definitive Timothy Zahn Heir to the Empire. Not only that, but like, this is so abridged. I can't, put in every line of dialogue and every little chapter. So I've really there's a whole section of the book that I cut out completely. And I know that's going to piss some people off, but and I'll actually tell you what it is, because why not? Because it's not going to be in there.
Right.
But so Leia gets, the Nogri attack Luke and Leia on Demasari, which is a big point in the book, and that'll obviously still be in here. But then, like a week later, they attack her again on a different planet, and then they attack her on Kashyyyk, and it's like,
Right.
all right, it's a little redundant in my opinion.
Yeah.
So we're going from the Bimasari attack to her immediately going into hiding on Kashyyyk
Okay.
because Han's not going to have it, right? He's like, you're pregnant. I don't want, you know what I mean? We need you to go into Kashyyyk with Chewie for protection.
Yes.
We're not going to do the middle ground, like another attack happens. And then she's like, okay, finally. They like bring in a fake Millennium Falcon and all this stuff.
Yep.
Like, that would have been a nightmare sequence to animate as well, to be honest with you. So.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I mean, it's a cool thing and when you listen to it in the book and stuff, but like, it's not necessary. Yeah. You get the premise that they're hunting her, right?
Right.
Like,
exactly. So that's why I have the conversation of between our Mace and our Thrawn about your Nogri failed to capture them. You know what I mean? And he says that, and so we still have that conversation. It's just that, like, okay, they didn't get 2 shots at it; they just got 1 instead. And she's going to Kashyyyk, and even though during that sequence is when Han hears about Joris being on Jomark, I just have him kind of coming in and saying that Wedge told him about a Jedi he heard was on Jomark, and that was it. So then that leads Luke to a little different path than the book, but yeah, of course, because Mace Windu is tied to his father in a way. You know what I mean?
Right. That's true. Yep, that's true.
So
There's
I wanted to
tie there.
Yeah, I wanted to have a little fun with it. So
yeah.
I
was gonna say, are you gonna have anyone do? I can't remember the Wookiee's voice, the one that kind of speaks. Not.
That's a great question, man. I haven't even begun to thought about that. Oh man, I dislike that part of the book. To be honest with you,
I do too. I'm not gonna lie.
I get why they did it, but
yeah. I'm not a fan of that. Every time it comes to it, and it's like he introduces himself, and I'm like, oh Lord,
in the audiobook, it's bad.
Yeah.
I know.
And I love Mark Thompson, and he does a great job with voices, and he is voice of Thrawn, but I just like that one voice. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. Not ideal, but like I'm not really sure how to get around it at this point without just saying that Leia understands Wookiee. So
exactly,
which we could say. I mean, it is a visual medium, so
and at this point, she's been with Chewbacca for years now, so like
10 years.
Yeah, so she's understood it from just being around it, you know.
Right.
So, she might not be like crazy fluent in it, but she understands it. So. I'm looking forward to it. Now, one thing I did ask, and you're totally cool with doing this, is giving a little preview here.
Of course.
For those of you who are Heir to the Empire fans, it's coming out either tomorrow or latest would be Tuesday.
Yeah.
But Mr. Jar Jar Jargon here is going to give us a sneak preview. So
that's right.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Jar Jar.
Let's take a look. So I don't think the sound's gonna work on here, unfortunately, because I'm not really sure how to go about that. Sorry, this is kind of like widescreen too, so I think
you're good.
Be as big as it gets.
Hey, it's
this is you. Obviously, this is a fade happening here.
Yeah.
Or a wipe. Classic Star Wars wipes. We love to use those.
Yes, absolutely. Is it Star Wars without a wipe? Come on.
Right. So we got wipes, we got, John Williams music, and
love it.
A lot of Star Wars sound. I have this ridiculous bank of Star Wars sound effects, and it's just going through it and doing like lightsabers and all that stuff. It's just it takes a lot. It's taking a lot of time, guys, but I promise you it's all going to pay off when you can sit down and watch nearly a 20-minute episode of a Star Wars animation.
This is going to be awesome.
That's the goal. So
yeah,
here we go. I'm hearing everything. Your lines probably.
Yep. I'm saying them in my head right now as we're going. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, so I'm just gonna, compose myself and let myself. This is great. I also love whoever does the voice of Thrawn does a good job.
Yeah, Sebastian Anderson, he's incredible. He's also Han Solo. So.
Oh, okay, sick.
Yep.
Heck yeah. That's a good voice actor right there.
So yeah, we're kind of in Thrawn's like war room here, which is good conversation that Pelion and him need to have, I think, about the Jedi they brought on board. So
Yep. Yeah.
yeah,
The crazy one.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
here we go. This is obviously Coruscant, and there's a interesting meeting happening here, which Mon Mothma is leading.
Did you happen to find some voice actors for?
I did. We got a Mon Mothma and a Leia. We got some responses to my audition
Heck yeah.
requests, and
Heck yeah.
I'm very happy with both of them. I think they did a great job.
Awesome.
And yeah.
Anyone I know?
I don't think so,
Okay.
but I'll make sure to put links and everything, in the
Absolutely.
YouTube.
Absolutely.
So
It's funny. I did have a bunch of people that I know, like when they were watching it, and they were, watching the end, and it showed me as the voice. They're like, "Wait, what?"
I think I saw some of those too. Like, oh, Gazer was Pelion.
It's funny. I
All
love
right.
the shots there. That's so good.
We're gonna cut it there. We won't. The Bimasari sequence is long. Obviously, it should be.
Yep.
And then, like I said, I added 3 scenes after that. So
Okay.
all that's going to be a total surprise, I think, to people, especially even people like that I have been working on this with a lot. You did a couple of lines, I think, in one of the extra scenes. And so you got your lines, and that's it. No one's really seen any of the beyond the Bimasari arc. No one's seen anything.
Okay.
So
That's
yeah.
cool. I like it. I'm excited. What has been? I was going to ask you, what's been the reaction on your side of the the first teaser episode?
Mostly positive, I'd say. There's obviously always people who are gonna be like, oh yeah, change the story, don't change the story. And it's like, I already said it, I can't take the book and make it line for line. It's not possible for me. I don't have a
Right.
team of animators, it's like
Right.
me and
Yeah.
like a couple people by myself, and
Right.
people lending their voices and helping out where they can. But I mean, as far as like the images you see here and putting everything together, I'm alone in that.
Right.
So there's been a lot of positive feedback. I mean, I'd say 99% positive. There's
That's
just, there's a few people that are just like, oh, why'd you change that? You would like, you're just as bad as Disney. All this stuff. It's like, dude, I don't make any money off this.
Yeah.
Like, I can't,
Yeah.
monetize it. I'm just doing it for fun. And if you don't
Right.
enjoy it, I'm sorry you didn't enjoy it, but
Yeah.
move on. So
Yeah. I don't have the money and resources to be able to do it word for word, line for line. Yeah.
Right. It
Yeah.
would take me forever. I mean, if you actually want to see anything on screen too, you're gonna have to accept what I can deliver,
Right.
So,
Exactly. 100%. Yeah. It'd be one thing if you're just reading lines off of the page and like
right.
leaving it there and just posting pictures as people read. But you know what I mean? It's another when you're trying to animate the entire thing as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm really, really excited for everyone to see it. I mean,
Oh yeah, dude. I'm stoked. I can't wait. It's fun because like anytime you send me the lines, obviously I know the general area of the book that it's in, but I don't know if specifically how you're gonna use it in like your scenes and stuff. So I'm always like, man, I can't wait to see, like so it's a lot of fun. I
Yeah.
enjoy it. But
Well, I'm glad you're a part of it. Of course, really happy to have you on board, and honestly, everyone that's lent their voices to it. I mean, geez, this wouldn't even be possible without any of them, man. Because it's like I like having a good array of voices, obviously, and I think we have like 15 different people who have lent their voices to this now. So
that's cool.
yeah, it's it's been a big project. I am gonna take a, I'll tell you here first before I'm gonna put a comment obviously tagged on the top of the video, but I am gonna be taking a little bit of a break away from the project now that I'm finished this first arc.
Okay.
And mostly just for my own sanity because I've spent nothing but my free time working on this for the past like 3 or 4 months, even going back to the first teaser.
Yeah.
So it's time for me to just take a step back for a minute, and then I'll get back into it once I feel ready, obviously.
For sure.
And the other thing is, of course, maybe our technology will improve a little bit in terms of how fast I can get this done, which is another big help, because the technology I use to actually animate these still images is improving at like in a crazy rate. And who knows where it's going to be in like a year from now. I mean, crazy, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I
for
might be at
sure.
a point where I can just have it do exactly what I want. I mean, I have to work with these images a lot. I have to change things a lot. I mean, I go in there, and if something isn't right, I have to mask a different animation over top of a specific area of the clip and stuff like that. It's a
Dang.
nightmare, to be honest with you, but
Yeah.
it pays off when I get to like see people's reactions and stuff like that, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. That is a pain. I will say that's one of the things. Like even just for me, like video editing, like
Yeah.
that's probably one of my least favorite things to do. You know, clipping and like, oh man, I told my wife, I was like, man, it'd be so nice to have a team where I could just record, send it to them, they do all
Yeah.
the editing, and then post it. You know what I mean? Like,
Sounds nice, right?
right? It does. It does. But unfortunately, I'm not there, so I got to
Oh,
do it
no.
all myself. So
Me neither. And that's the thing about like this kind of project, right? Like, okay, so every single still image is made by me, right? Through Photoshop and other means. And sometimes there's an animator that'll draw things for me or whatever. And then I'm using AI to animate it, obviously, but now I have to find the correct clips. I have to mask stuff together. I have to green screen stuff, key stuff, that kind of thing. And then I have to edit the whole thing together.
yeah,
Then I get the voices in. Once they get the voices, I have to re-edit the whole video because I have to get the lips as close as possible to syncing.
dang.
So like the initial
Oh,
edit is just like here's a ballpark of what it should look like. And once I get the
bro,
voices, I know, okay, here's where they fit. And I
dude.
re-edited the whole thing. Then I got to do all the sound.
You have more patience. You're a better man than I do. You have way more patience, and that's like I'm ADD in the fact that like things have to look decent, right? Things have to look
Right.
good. But if it's way too meticulous for me, I'm like I can't handle it. Like I go insane. Like after
Yeah.
like 5 minutes, I'm like I'm gonna lose my mind. Like
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, I get
So
it. That's why I need a little bit of a break. If I just take the next 4 months to finish the next episode, it's gonna drive me insane. So
yeah,
I'll take a few months off and then I'm just gonna get back into it and yeah, hit the ground running again. And just, once I feel a little rejuvenated, I mean, I definitely am determined enough to finish this project to where like I will sit there for hours and edit it and re-edit it and all that stuff. But it's also like one of those things where I need to also like give myself some free time to do other things,
yeah,
So,
yeah, 100%. I totally get it. Totally understand. Are you? I was gonna ask. Are you busy on Tuesday with the next three episodes release?
I mean, I'm not really busy, so I'll be around here. I'll be watching the episodes.
You're
So
welcome to join our live stream if you want.
okay.
I'll
Well,
shoot
if
you the
I
link.
yeah,
You're welcome to join in, even if it's just for a few minutes. You just want to pop in and say hi and
for sure.
chill.
Yeah, I'd like to
So,
do that. If I can get in my office, so
yeah.
I'm like very immobile right now. So like, if my wife is home, then I can move, and if she's not, then I'm kind of stuck where I am. So
That's a bummer.
yeah, it's
Oh
crazy,
man.
man. It's crazy.
That's funny. I was pulling this up. We were talking about Mon Mothma at the beginning. And it's got a picture of Return of the Jedi Mon Mothma.
Right.
And it says, imagine going back to the premiere of Return of the Jedi and telling someone that in 40 years, Disney would make a Star Wars TV show where Mon Mothma gets litty and dances to trap music at a wedding rave. And the picture is this one, where she's just
Yeah,
like
that
deer
classic
caught in
look.
headlights, like I just think that's hilarious because it's true. You never would have pictured that. Like,
Right. And that's the look we went with here too. The classic Mothma look. So
yeah, I
didn't
like
quite
it.
go for the dancing at the wedding look, but
Right. Yeah. Man, that's crazy. It's cool. So I'm going to ICC Con in Nashville in a couple weeks here.
oh, right
And
on. Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, obviously Theory's gonna be there, Roger Christian.
Yeah.
They just announced Katie Sackhoff is gonna be
Right.
there.
Right.
But with Roger Christian, I was gonna tell you, so I don't know if you saw May 13th at 6 Eastern, where me, Star Wars Nerd, and Kyber Forge are gonna do a live watch party of A New Hope, and Roger Christian is gonna join us. And
Wow, that's
so
cool.
he's gonna give live commentary on A New Hope as we watch it. So
That's really cool.
yeah. So it's stuff like you're never gonna hear on a behind the scenes stuff, like as we're
Right.
watching, you're like, oh, like I remember when we did that, like
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
we made that, like
Oh, that's awesome, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
Love it.
looking forward to that. So
Oh, right on. I'll
Put
have
that
to
down
tune
your
in for that.
calendar.
That sounds
Yes,
awesome. Yeah, for sure.
it's gonna be great. And I told people too, like I want to show him love. You know, I would
Oh
love to
yeah,
get like 200 plus in that. You know what I mean? Like that would be sweet just to show him some love.
for sure. Yeah,
So
he's gotta know how important he is to the franchise for sure.
yes,
So
absolutely. I mean, he
yeah,
created the one of the greatest things we have. I
yeah,
mean,
exactly.
come on.
The
Um,
architect.
yes, the architect. Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, man, I appreciate you joining.
All right.
And this has been fun. So
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you having me on, and yeah, we'll do it again sometime for sure.
yes, absolutely. Guys, look forward to that being released either tomorrow or Tuesday. Um, don't forget, go to Rebel Scum Art and Apparel, use code Star Wars Gazer, get 15% off your entire order. Me, Star Wars Nerd, Kyber Forge are doing a massive giveaway. If we each get to 500 subscribers or more before May 4th, we will do a massive giveaway where we'll give 2 general admission tickets for the entire weekend at ICCC. Battle Packs Official is giving a Lego set of his choosing. Bryant Collectibles is giving away an autograph and a slabbed up, sealed, unopened copy of Revenge of the Sith PS2 game. And then we have Millennium Workshop is giving a custom piece as well. So
Jeez.
all of that if we get to 500 on or before May 4th. So don't forget about that. And then obviously Roger Christian, I just said May 13th, Tuesday night, 6 Eastern, a New Hope live watch party with Roger Christian. So
Very cool.
that'll be fun. So thank you again.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Looking forward to that stream. That'll be cool. So
Yes.
yeah, everyone tune in for the Heir to the Empire anime. It's coming out.
Yes.
So,
It's going to
yeah.
be great. It's going to be a good time. Thanks
All
for
right.
watching, everyone. We appreciate it. And may the force be with you
See you
always.
guys.